Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today, I am going to share 3 steps to discover your sweet spot in your business. So if you missed the last couple episodes, I am currently enrolling for the Pumpkin Plan Accelerator course. So I'm very excited to launch this course. It's going to be a group program that lasts from October until the end of January. And together we are all going to work through a portion of the Pumpkin Plan. So this is a program that has really changed my business and helped me gain control in my business. Before, I felt like I was marketing to everybody, making very little traction, but also overwhelmed at the same time and not really getting the jobs that I wanted. I felt like I had kind of just lost focus in my business. So there's an entire episode about the Pumpkin Plan, and enrollment is open now. It does close on the 21st. So once that ends, I won't be taking any more students because we actually start on October 4th. So if you are interested, all of the information is linked in the show notes, including a quiz that you can take to find out if you are operating in your sweet spot. And what's cool about this concept is that it's different for everyone. This is not a one-size-fits-all formula. So the way I do things might not be the best way for you to do things. So this quiz kind of helps you assess yourself and your own business, and it gives you a score to see how far off of your sweet spot that you are. So in order to be functioning in your business sweet spot, you need to basically be serving your top clients. You need to have a unique offering, and you have to streamline your processes. So when you have all 3 of those things kind of sorted out, that is when you find that intersection of where you're doing all of those. That is your sweet spot. When you're in that sweet spot, when you're running your business in that little intersection area, you start to easily attract your ideal clients. You also don't experience pressure to lower your prices. I know that is such a big one, especially if you live in a competitive area and there's a lot of people doing balloons. That's where you get that pricing pressure because people are shopping around. The other thing that happens when you're in the sweet spot is that you can grow without demanding additional work hours. And that comes because you are limiting who you're working with and you've streamlined your processes. So you're able to make more money without necessarily having to work around the clock. So it is hard to get to that sweet spot. This is not something that you are just going to, figure out today during this episode. That's why it's a 4-month-long process. That's why we are going to work together in this strategy group to get closer to that sweet spot. However, in today's episode, I do want to outline the process to discover your sweet spot because that is something you can start thinking about. And if this is interesting to you, that might be a good indication that this course would be a good fit for you. So we're going to take a break and head over to the UGlue hotline, but keep in mind during this episode that even if you don't join the course, that quiz is still available to you. You can see how far off your sweet spot you are currently operating, and you can take the information in this episode to get a start towards improving your sweet spot. So again, I hope you consider joining the Pumpkin Plan Accelerator course. I'm very, very excited for this group coaching program, and enrollment closes on the 21st, which is in 2 days. So there is a sales page if you want to learn more about how the program is structured, what you get, what the investment is, and all of the dates and timelines there. So again, that is linked in the show notes. Let's take a quick break and then get into this episode. Welcome to the UGlue hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks. Brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi, Sarah. My name is Sally, and I live in Illinois. I do not currently work in the balloon field, just as a hobby. But my question is, do you see any value in becoming a certified decorator? I know that Qualitex has the QBN practical exam. I'm not sure what other companies do that. Just curious if you had any insight. Thanks so much. Bye.
Hey, Sally, thank you for this question. My opinion about becoming a certified balloon artist is that yes, it's worth it, but most people wait way too long to take the test. I think you should take the test within the first year or two of doing balloons so that the learning is what you're after. The certificate is fun to get and everything, but it's not going to do anything to improve your business. No one in the outside world knows what a certified balloon artist is. So if that is the only reason you're taking the test, it's not worth it. I think you should take the certification test way earlier as a way to prove to yourself that you have the skills, that you are a confident professional. It should be the learning that you're after, not the certification, if that makes sense. I have talked to a lot of people that take the test after doing balloons for, 5 years, and they think it's really easy. And obviously, because the test is not supposed to trip us up. It is not supposed to be this horrible thing that no one can pass, right? The goal is that everyone should be able to pass. It is kind of the bare minimum of what it takes to be a professional. So waiting too long to take it so you know that you're going to ace it is kind of like if you took your driver's ed test after you'd been driving for 15 years. That's not really the point of it. The point of taking your driver's test is to get your license so that you can drive. Now, you don't need to be certified to do balloons, but the same concepts apply. You need to know the basics. You need to be confident. You have to understand what to do in certain situations. And that's much more valuable at the beginning of your career than it is mid-career. So yes, I think getting your CBA or whatever certification, it's totally worth it. It's very fun to get announced and get that certificate. And I got a pin and I was announced at Float. So it was super fun. There were a lot of people there. I have nothing bad to say about the certification process itself, but I think most people just wait way too long. So don't be scared. I would use it as a challenge. I would learn the material, learn the content as a way to kind of speed up your balloon business and get to the point where, most of us get after a couple years naturally, but this is just a way to kind of fast track it and a really easy goal to set for yourself. So that's my opinion. Hope it helps. Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, U-Glue, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on U-Glue when you buy directly from Having a Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. Okay, welcome back. So the first step, we're going to talk about 3 steps to discover your sweet spot. And again, like I said in the intro, this is not a one-size-fits-all. My sweet spot might not be yours. So you could do the same exact things that I'm doing, and for whatever reason, that's not going to work for you. Certain things might be we live in different areas, or we have a different family structure, or what I'm really good at is not what you're really good at. So that is why it's a really personalized program. It's a really personalized thing because I have always felt really passionate about building a business that works for your life. I left a corporate job that I didn't like. I am not trying to build a business that I also don't like. So I always want to be working towards building something that works for me and for my family and my strengths and the things that feel fun and easy. And again, that's going to be different for all of us. So the first step, I think this is my favorite step in the process, and that is identifying your top clients. So in order to do that, you need to make a list of all of your clients in order of who spends the most in your business. This is going to reveal to you, obviously, your top spenders and some of your best clients, but then there's another step where we're going to start weeding them out because we all know that sometimes the biggest spenders are not the best clients. Sometimes they can be total jerks. They can change their mind. They might pay late. So just because they spend the most doesn't mean they're necessarily one of your top clients. However, we start with the finances because they don't lie. If you look at who spends the most, that is a good indicator of who your top clients are. That's a good pool to start with because there might be other people that love you and love your business and you love working with, but if they have paid you $200 over the last 4 years, unfortunately, they are not going to be the people who keep your business open. You have to cater to the people who are going to invest and speak with their money. So the first thing is going to be figuring out who your top clients are. Now, for me, I've been using a CRM. I use 17 Hats, and I've been using that for about 5 years now. So I have a ton of data to pull from, and I can do that really easily by running a simple report. Now, I'm not going to go back 5 years. I just pulled data from the last year. You could do 18 months, but you want your most recent client. If you had a client that spent $5,000 5 years ago and then they've never been in touch since, unfortunately, they're not one of your top clients. You're going to be working with recent clients because those are the ones that are kind of still warm, right? Like those are the ones that ideally are going to keep working with you. So I ran a report and I was able to see all of my clients in order of what they spent. And for the most part, this wasn't super surprising to me. I have some pretty big spenders and I know who they are, but this was a very clear way to see where my money is coming from. Next, what you're going to do is give each client a grade. So you're going to factor in things like how easy they are to work with. Do they let you fix mistakes? Do they refer business to you? Do they pay you on time? Things like that. Because like I said, money isn't everything. There are also things that you have to factor in. One of the things in this program that you factor in is the cringe factor. There are just some people that you hate picking up the phone when they call. You hate getting an email. Every time they reach out to you, you're like secretly hoping that you're booked. So there is this cringe factor that for whatever reason, if you just can't stand working with someone, you're not going to count them as a top client, even if they spend a lot of money. Because again, this program is not just about making more money. It's definitely going to help you do that. But it's also about building a business that feels good. And working with a bunch of icky clients doesn't feel good. So for example, maybe you have a client who spends a lot of money, but he calls you kid, or he puts his arm around you, or he makes gross jokes. Like anything like that, you just don't have time for in your life or your business. You need to free up that space for other clients like your good clients. So we have worked on identifying our clients, and now we are going to look at our top 20 and start defining our market niche. So technically you can do your top 20% of clients. I think for balloon businesses, your top 20 clients is actually a pretty reasonable number. You think about how many parties, how many events you can actually decorate a year. In some cases, 20 clients could bring in 50% of your revenue easily. For me, I think that's probably about true. My top 20 clients bring in about half of what I make during the year, which is pretty wild, especially when you think of all those times that your inbox is overflowing and you don't know who to reply to and you're delayed getting back to people and your calendar is full. It really helps clarify when you're like, wait a minute, all I have to do is pay attention to these 20 people and pick up the phone when they call and respond to their texts and always be available for their dates. That all of a sudden takes a lot of the pressure off for all of the other noise and clutter that's happening in your business. It becomes pretty simple. So these 20 are going to be your pumpkins. These are going to be your giant pumpkins. These are the ones that, in order to help them grow and maximize their size and their potential, you might need to pay less attention to your little pumpkins. You might need to trim the vine. So this is this pumpkin plan analogy. And this alone, if this is all you do, this could unlock a lot of information in your business. So let's just go through those again. In order to identify your top clients, you're going to make a list of all of your clients, and then you're going to put them in order of who spends the most in your business. Again, money talks. Next, you're going to give them a grade. You're going to factor in things like how easy or hard they are to work with, if they refer business to you, if they allow you to fix mistakes, or if they go off and leave you like a negative review. All those things count as well. So you're going to give them a grade and kind of change around the order, and then you're going to have your list of 20 clients that you really need to pay attention to. Those are your big pumpkins. Now, if you're brand new to business, you might not have 20 pumpkins. You might not have a way to quickly pull this data. So maybe in your case, you need to go back and look at your Google Calendar from the last year and manually pull out those jobs. This is another side effect to working the pumpkin plan, and that is having data to work with. Because for my first probably 3 or 4 years in business, I couldn't have told you who those pumpkins were. I couldn't have even found that information. I lost information. I knew I had this big job at a college, but I couldn't tell you what the name of the person was who booked me, let alone how to contact them. Like, I just didn't have any systems in place to help make this easier. So if this is you, now is a great time to start tracking that information. And it could be in a way that's sophisticated, like 17 Hats that does it for you digitally, or it could be with paper and pencil. Like, you could just have a bulletin board in your office and you just have a list of people who spend over $1,000. That could be a way to start tracking some of this data. So even if you can't run a fancy report and rank people by their finances, you can still go through and figure out who were those big spenders that I liked working with. You want to start with something, and we're going to start finding our top clients. That is one of the keys to finding our sweet spot. Okay, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to move on to our second step, which is going to be identifying your unique offering. And this is where things get really fun.
Hi, this is Jeff from Balloon Suite by Asset Lab. We help balloon decor businesses bring in more sales and leads with a high-tech toolkit that includes your website, your domain, your advertising, your search engine optimization. Our plans start at $50 a month, and we'll even buy out your Wix or Squarespace or GoDaddy subscription to help you get onto a platform that's made for and optimized for your business in balloon decor. Check us out at balloonsuite.com.
Okay, welcome back. Next, we're going to talk about identifying your unique offering. And again, this is, I know I sound like a broken record, but this is what's cool. We're identifying your unique offering. We're not identifying a unique offering for all balloon people, because if we do that, suddenly we're all the same again. And that's what I'm excited about in this group program, because we can help each other. Sometimes when you say things, you can't hear what you're even saying because you're so involved, you're so close to your business. But as a group, you might say things that we can all hear very clearly. So for example, if you think your unique offering is over the top baby showers, but your top 20 clients are all corporate executives, you might not hear yourself saying that, but from the outside looking in, the group will probably very clearly be able to identify that really your unique offering doesn't align with your top clients. So this is a part where almost for me, it was a bit of a wake-up call, because kind of what I thought my unique offering wasn't actually anything that my top clients were actually interested in. So I was putting all this time and energy into an offering that they didn't want. So that is humbling, but also eye-opening. So in order to identify your unique offering, here's what you're going to do. Now, this is really scary. This is the scariest part of this program. And this is why if you participate fully, you will be so far ahead of your competition, they will never catch you. You are going to interview your top clients. And I know that sounds crazy, and there's a whole process to do it. There are questions, we map it all out. You will get moral support, but you are going to interview your top clients because they are the ones that count the most. So this is where I discovered that the thing that I wanted the most, which was total automation and being able to purchase on my website, was not something that my top clients were ever going to do. Because when I ran my numbers and ran my reports, my top clients were all event planners, and they want what they want, whether or not it's on my website. And they're not even filling out the event form on my website, which is like my golden rule. Everyone goes through that lead capture form, except guess who? The really special people, because they just send me a text because they want what they want. So in order to spend all that time and money and resources to try to automate my balloon sales to cater to who? My not top clients, that didn't make any sense. So for me, this was a change. So you're going to interview your top clients and you're going to ask them what stands out about your business and what they think is missing in your industry. So the second question is interesting because it's not asking, well, what can I do better? Because that's kind of a hard question and most people are going to dodge it and say like, oh, nothing, you're great, you're easy to work with. So instead, you're going to ask about your industry. What can my industry do better? And that way, they're a little bit more capable or comfortable saying something that bothers them as a whole. So if you think, for a DJ, if a DJ called me and was like, what do you think about my business? I'd be like, it's great. But if they said, well, what do you think is missing in the DJ industry, like in general? Then I'd be like, I don't know. I think maybe it would be cool if you offered like karaoke. That seems like something that I was looking for during the big balloon build that nobody offered. And when you think about it, they have the music, they have all the tracks, they have the setups with the lights. I think karaoke would be a super cool add-on that I wish I could get from you. And again, that's not insulting that person. That's just saying I couldn't find any DJs that offered karaoke when I needed it. So that is a hard conversation to have. And we kind of will help you through that situation. I will help you through that situation because it is frightening. Then from those interviews, you're going to define your unique offering that matches what you do best and what your clients care about most. So this is what I was talking about before. When I ran this experiment, none of them said, wow, I really just wish that ordering balloons was easier. I really wish that I could just go on your website and buy exactly what I wanted. They didn't say that. That was not their answer. So for me to continue focusing on that didn't make sense because it didn't cater towards my top clients. It catered to what I thought the general public wanted, but it didn't cater towards the big pumpkins, the people I really need to make happy. So the thing that is very cool about how this program is set up is that it's in a specific order. So you'll notice we identify the top clients first, then we are going to identify our unique offering. I feel like for years and years, I swapped it. I thought about what I do really well and who would like to pay me for those services. The reason we're not going to do it in that order is because once you identify your top clients, you need to base your unique offering on them. The people that you love working with and love working with you, you want to serve them best. You don't want to do what I did and spend all of your time filling this niche that didn't need to be filled. So that's why we start with our clients, then we move on to our unique offering. Then we are going to move on to systemizing our offering. So this is the third step, and we're going to take a quick break to hear from a sponsor and then finish it up. Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Having a Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. At Having a Party Wholesale, they're not just a distributor, they're your partner in success. With the latest and greatest in balloon innovations, they're on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients. From top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Premium Conwin, and more, they've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Elevate your balloon business with premium quality balloons and accessories that'll make every event unforgettable. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havingaparty.com. Okay, step 3 in discovering your sweet spot is systemizing your offering. Now, I will say that the program we are doing is not going to focus much on this step. We will talk about it, but we are doing more of a focused program based on growth and keeping your clients. So gaining clients and keeping them. So we're really going to focus on these first 2 steps, but to do the full pumpkin plan, which would be like over a year, that is where we're going to systemize our offering. However, you can still work on systemization, even though that is not going to be what this program mainly focuses on. But this is going to be things like listing out all of the tasks that you are doing yourself, because it's easier than delegating. Obviously, we're going to start talking about kind of delegating some of these things so that you can free up your time and basically scale your business. As long as you're doing everything, and I'm very guilty of this, it gets really hard to grow because you're limited. You're limited in your time and where you can be and what you can be doing. Next, you're going to document the step-by-step process. Sometimes these are called SOPs. And these are going to be your tasks that don't need to be done by you. This is how you're going to start working towards delegating to other people. And then you're going to identify opportunities for automation, which I love. I love automation. 17 Hats has a lot of automations built in. So my systems actually are pretty well defined. When I did my sweet spot quiz, the systems question actually I did pretty well on, despite the fact that I don't have any full-time employees. I don't really have anybody doing installs on their own, but because so much else in my business, the planning, the prep, the communication, a lot of that is very systemized that the only thing I really have to do in my business is the installations. So this is the area where you can continue tweaking for years and years and years because systems are going to change. Technology is going to improve. People's preferences are going to change. Look at what we've seen with text messaging marketing in the last 5 years. That didn't exist 5 years ago. So that's why you're never really going to be done evaluating your systems. And you're never really going to be done with any of this because your top clients are probably going to change. You might have a new pumpkin that just all of a sudden rolls in out of nowhere and makes the list, right? So you don't want to discount any new clients that you get. So you will be doing a top client evaluation, I would say quarterly, at the very least annually. You definitely want to be reevaluating who your top clients are. And then, because sometimes for whatever reason, things out of your control, some of those top clients drop off. You might have a really great relationship with someone that leaves their position and you just never can really get a foot in the door with whoever replaced them. And that, usually has nothing to do with you. So that's fine. We just want to be aware that that's happening so that we can replace that pumpkin with a new giant pumpkin. Same thing with your unique offering. Tastes and preferences and styles might change and you want to be able to adapt to that. So that's why this is kind of a program that you'll work over and over. And once you know these steps and you have the tools to help you implement, you're always going to be ahead of the competition. And that is cool too about the program. All of these tools are included. So when I talk about identifying your top clients and giving them grades, inside the program, there is a spreadsheet to help you do that. When I talk about interviewing your clients, that is not something you're just going to do without help. There is an outline, there is a script, there are lots of resources to help you collect information and hold that information. The very first thing that we're going to do is a benchmark assessment of where you are in your business right now, because we want to look back on that in 4 months and see what's changed. We always want to have goals. We want to know where we're going. Otherwise, none of this matters if we're not keeping track of it. So all of those resources are included along with the video lessons that are going to coach you along the way. And then each session, every other week, we will meet on Zoom and I will be your strategist. So I did not create this content. I did not create these videos. They are professionally done. They are by Mike Michalowicz, who is the author of The Pumpkin Plan and his whole curriculum team. So this is really, really good stuff that I've implemented in my business. And then when I became certified, I became a strategist that can basically mentor you through the program. So those are going to be our in-person Zoom sessions where we all get together and basically unpack what we've learned in the sessions. And then there will be homework every week that we can kind of work on and then come back to together as a group. Because like I said, this isn't easy work. This isn't something that you're going to sit down today and complete. This is a process and it takes time, it takes thinking, it takes a lot of energy. But if you're willing to invest in yourself and spend that energy, your business could be unrecognizable in 4 months. Mine has changed so much over the last year to the point where I am now confident saying no to jobs. I am comfortable seeing people on Instagram do balloons in my area and genuinely starting to feel like, oh, it doesn't matter because they're not one of my top clients. They're not even looking for my unique offering. And surprisingly, my unique offering doesn't have anything to do with balloons. So when I see people DIYing their own balloons from an Amazon kit, that no longer feels bad. I used to go on Instagram and spiral out of control when I would see all of this quote unquote competition. But once you know who your clients are and what you have to offer, it really clarifies who's your competition and who's just doing balloons, because it's not all the same. So if that sounds interesting, check out the link in the show notes. I am very excited to work with you as your pumpkin plan strategist over the next 4 months. And please let me know if you have any questions. I will be honest with you. If you reach out and ask if the plan is good for you, I will let you know if it's not. If you are just starting out, if you have no clients, probably it's not the right time to start this program. If you are a year in, if you are 5 years in, if you feel like you don't have enough business or you have a lot of business that isn't the right kind of business, this will change your life. It will change your business. Thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.